Hello everyone, and welcome to Straight Chilling. Each week we watch and review a horror film for your entertainment. You can send all questions and comments to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to keep chilling.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing. 5 cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star ratings from the floor to the ceiling. If you get your 1 star, no time for feelings. Got a team of DJ, all the 1s and 2s. By the name of someone, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all in 2. And prepare to hear the legend of the Straight Chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? Welcome to another rousing episode of Straight Chilling. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 202, recorded Sunday, February 17th, 2019. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a little movie called Happy Death Day to You.
Happy Death Day to you, baby.
Oh, yeah! I know you're flocking in the blue now. Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Southern Korea, my boy, Soju.
What up? It's your boy, Soju. Sipper of soju, catcher of cooters, connoisseur of creams, champion of yabos, leader of men.
Browner of shorts, crammer of cream. What? You've got too many names, dog.
Dude, that's just how we do, you know?
That
it's
is
your boy, Sleepy Stains today.
I think it's
Sleepy
called
Pea Stains today.
You wet dreamed yourself? You got the wet dreams going on? Sopping dreams stains.
I think last time we briefly mentioned we actually knew a man named Sleepy Pea Floyd. I think that needs to be brought up again.
We did. It's true. He's a real person in the world.
Maybe. He might still be alive. I don't know.
Maybe. Next up, we got Shaboy Bradley making a triumphant return to the cast.
What's up?
Welcome, Brad.
I don't know if I don't have nearly as many titles as Justin does.
No one should, really.
Just the one, Brad. You can,
just
his Bradness.
Be rad.
Just be rad.
Just be rad, guy. You know?
And so I have heard of this Sleepy P Floyd guy, and I've only heard of him from you guys, and I always imagined him as like one of the 7 dwarfs, just for some reason.
He's like a 7 dwarf if he were a drug dealer.
Oh, okay, yeah. Druggy dwarf.
He may or may not also
really
be afraid
a
of
really
pigeons.
sketchy drug dealer.
Ooh.
All I keep thinking of is Sleepy Gary.
I don't know who that is.
Sleepy Gary from Rick and Morty. Sorry, Rob.
Perfect.
Over your head.
Dang it. Last but not least on the cast, Stephanie. What's up, Steph?
Hey,
Hey, thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
no problem.
Happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
Cool. Randy Gandy G. Landy is lame, and he's not going to be able to make it tonight. He did send in a quick little blurb of his thoughts on the movie that I'll play towards the end of the show, though. So we'll get to hear Randy ramble, I assume.
Oh, have you not listened to it, Rob?
No, because I literally, like, Stephanie, Brad, and we just got out of the movie, so I didn't want to listen to his review before seeing it.
Oh,
so
man.
I haven't.
This is a precursor to hopefully whatever next month ends up to be. But I'll
yes.
save it.
Nice. I'm excited.
It's glorious.
I'm excited. Okay.
I'm glad we're going in, without having any idea what he's about to say.
I was super curious. This movie is obviously pretty influenced by Back to the Future, and I know Randy loves the Back to the Future movies, and I was like, I don't know if that would make him really appreciate this movie or like kind of hate it. So I'm intrigued to see what his thoughts are. Randy. Well, before we get into the show, let's go ahead and take care of some housekeeping real quick. Speaking of Randy, our March poll pick is up on the Patreon page. The theme for the month is movies that Randy would hate. So if you support us on Patreon at the $5 level or above, you can vote on one of the movies we're going to talk about in the month of March. 3 movies that you can vote between are House of Wax, Queen of the Damned, and Dracula 2000. Right now, House of Wax is winning.
It should.
Pretty handily.
Wow, how much?
It's got like 50% of the votes. So it's
Oh, come on, people. Come on. I don't even know if Randy's going to hate that movie. I've actually never seen House of Wax.
yeah,
The new one? Like the newest
yeah,
one?
not the Vincent Price one.
Oh, God,
the Paris
it's horrible.
Hilton
The Paris
one.
Hilton
Yeah.
one. I saw that in theaters.
Me too.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great
Okay,
time.
maybe we're safe then.
It wasn't a
God,
great
that
time.
movie's horrible.
Movies
Yes.
that Rob also hates, apparently.
Kind of. We're probably
Yeah, I
all
guess
gonna
we're
shit.
all gonna be going in
Yeah.
hating these movies.
Yeah.
We're just gonna shit.
I mean, it's one of those that you just like love to hate. Like, I think it would just be fun to watch because it's horrible.
Yeah.
So, which is not a bad thing.
It's
That's the
gonna be.
theme.
It's gonna be cathartic. Cathartic.
There you
Oh,
A
man.
nice cleanser.
Yeah. We're gonna have a group colonic in the form of
Damn.
House of Wax. In the form of Paris Hilton. She's gonna clean our assholes out. That's what I'm saying. She's just really gonna get on up in there.
You guys have fun with that.
Thanks. Also, quick shouts outs. We got 2 new Patreon patrons. So big thanks to Jim G Baby himself, and also Nightmare Maven.
Oh, thanks, guy. I
Yes.
didn't realize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for supporting
And
the
I'm
show.
not runner of Patreon, so I'm always just as surprised as the viewers.
I have full access to it, but I never check it at all.
Full is.
half restricted access. But yeah, thanks for supporting the show, guys. You help us cover our monthly costs.
Oh wait, who is the second one? I missed the second one.
Oh, Nightmare Maven.
Oh, thank you. Oh shit, man! Like, God, I actually know these people. We have a community. Like,
do.
it really exists. Yeah, I mean, like between the Instagram and the Slack and the Twitch and everything like that. Like, these people are like real people to me now. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
They're not internet people. They're real people.
They're humans now.
Humans.
You know how the internet goes. You never know what's
Yeah.
a robot. You know.
Imitation.
Have we just been talking to chatbots the whole
I
time?
think so. All
Shit,
Russian.
I
All Russian.
assume. Rob keeps saying money's coming in. I just assume it's Rob.
I just pay for stuff. No,
Rob
guys.
just keeps
You're just
paying
catfishing.
us.
Catfishing ourselves. Yeah, my name's Nightmare Maven.
He's just trying to impress me. Oh, we got a new patron. But now I actually know these people.
You specifically, I just need to impress you. That's the whole reason for the
You and
show.
Randy running the
friendship.
scam on me.
Yeah,
That's what
All
this
the
whole thing
numbers
is
are
about.
fixed.
All your followers and everything are just you.
that's what you get for moving to South Korea, Justin. Why don't you talk a little bit about YouTube and/or Twitch, Juice?
Yeah, so I didn't have the heart to do it. I had to let it happen naturally because obviously once we do an episode and Rob uploads it to all the streams, then it automatically generates a YouTube video as well, which is just the audio with like an image or whatever. So I went to go upload a Resident Evil video this week and noticed that on youtube.com/straight chilling podcast, we had reached the magical number of 69 videos already, and I couldn't personally ruin that. So I had to wait until Rob uploads this new episode, and it happens naturally. And then I've got a couple Twitch videos to upload at that point. But yeah, we are already at, by the time you listen to this, 72 videos of content on YouTube. 75 actually by the time you guys get to it. So and also, not only that, we have 2 new videos. Another Bob's Blu-rays is going to be dropping this week, as well as a video game review coming up, exclusive YouTube content coming up. So check us out there, youtube.com/straight chillin' podcast to get some extra horror straight chillin' content. And Tuesday, I will be live streaming on our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/straight chillin' podcast. Getting close to wrapping up that Resident Evil 2 remake Leon playthrough, trying to get it knocked out with this month. And then I'll be, there's some new DLC out as well. So I'll be working on some of that as well. So yeah, if you want to tune in, you want to do a live chat, check that out. We got all kind of goodies for you on YouTube and Twitch and whatnot.
Sweet deal. You can see our big dumb faces on YouTube if you want. Which
Yeah, you can see my ass at 4
probably don't.
a.m. You can see what that terrible shit looks like, because right now that's what's happening.
Justin, you're a fucking trooper.
Well,
You look kind of like you're going to go to an emo show after this, right?
I just got out of one.
A little bourbon in my coffee this morning.
Ah,
Smart idea.
swerving with the bourbon. All you need is the babyface mask, and you'll be the killer from Happy Death Day.
Yeah,
I like it.
dude, I get one of those.
Podcasting
Actually,
in
that's
theme.
kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Fucking baby. I love how they like mention it in this movie. Like, why the fuck would you choose a baby? It is like the mascot and everything. It's like, oh god.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know.
And there
It
was a
kind
lot
of
of people
reminds
that
me
bought that
of
mask.
like the community, like humans or whatever.
Yeah.
From community,
with the butthole flag.
The least
But just
offensive
that, like,
mascot.
that mascot. God, somebody needs to make a horror movie out of that thing.
Let's go ahead and talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Juice, you want to kick us off? What you been watching?
Yeah, I actually watched the first Happy Death Day this week to get ready for this movie. I had never seen it before, and I'll be talking about it a lot in this review because it's like impossible not to. But I enjoyed it. I was like really like pleasantly surprised, to be honest, and then it really helps like going into this movie like back to back, like having these movies super fresh for the first time on my mind. I think will make for a good cast day. On top of that, I watched the new Mary Poppins, the newest Disney remake.
Yeah.
Here's what I've learned from those movies, because we had a Winnie the Pooh drop too, and they're doing this whole thing where they're like, oh, remember these old shits that like, you know, used to make you so happy, and here's what's going on. So, not to spoil anything for you, but it's like the premise of these films. The same thing with like Christopher Robin and like Mary Poppins. It's like these kids that you like grew up with, and like, oh my God, you know, as children, Christopher Robin, he's grown up now. The kids from the OG Mary Poppins, they're grown up now, and they had the kids, and it's like their kind of experiences and everything. And here's what Disney's telling me. I mean, they're telling it to me, is that no matter what happens, you have these magical adventures as children. You have this magical nanny that takes you off into magical lands, and you have the best childhood you've ever had, and you have wonderful adventures with Winnie the Pooh and all this shit, and you still end up a grizzled old piece of shit, just like your parents, who you had to teach a lesson to when you were a kid about imagination and all of that bullshit. None of it fucking matters. You end up just as fucking miserable and
I
just
don't know
a big
if that's
piece of
Disney.
shit as they did.
I think that might just be you projecting all of that onto these movies.
No,
You-
that's what happens.
Or it's the
because
emo
you see
hoodie
these
that you're wearing
fucking-
right now. So you have to completely like
You see
take
these parents
everything.
and these movies, and they're all like, money, 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 and shut your mouth, you stupid kid. You fucking don't know what you're talking about. And then Mary Poppins shows up and goes on magical. And then the parents
Sherry
are, oh
Bobbins.
my God, you're right. You know what? But these kids have grown up, and none of that shit mattered. They didn't remember their lessons. They didn't fucking learn that shit, and they're now old grizzled piece of shit who are beating their children. So, you know,
The
none of
only
it fucking
thing that
mattered.
history really tells us, Justin, is that we will repeat it, okay?
yeah, endless
Yeah.
time loop.
I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, you know, Disney, that's what they're telling me.
Disney.
That's what they're
You're
telling
still
me.
fucked. That's their new slogan.
I'm on to you.
It's because you lose the magic of being a child at some point and become an adult, and then have to get a job, and that all
Don't
sucks.
rationalize this bullshit.
No, Disney only tells me that they want my money. Like, that's all they've ever told me.
They're going to take it
Give me.
one way or
It's
another.
inevitable. You're going to be a grizzled old piece of shit when you have children, and that's what they do to you. They suck the youth and the life away.
Damn, dog. Finish that coffee.
Going
It's 4
to be.
Anything else ruining your life, Justin?
No, that's fine. Let's move on.
Nah,
Move on, people.
that's fine. Cool. Steph, what you been watching?
Well, I loved Mary Poppins. No, just kidding. It was okay.
I haven't seen it. This is
I did go see it, actually. I didn't hate it. It just has like one song in it that you're like, it has been like 20 fucking minutes. Like, what are we doing? How long can
None
these
of them,
lamplighters
like,
sing?
There. they all just like kind of kept going, and you're like, I mean, this kind of has a tune, I guess, and like, and then you're like, all right, let's move along.
You're like, just eat the fucking spoonful of sugar and shut up.
Get to going.
Like, when did they start doing BMX and Mary Poppins? What is happening?
Mary Poppins Extreme.
We just finished Russian Doll,
Nice.
and we really liked it. I actually wasn't into it before. When I saw the trailer, I was like, we've already done this. Groundhog Day, Happy Death Day was coming out like a couple weeks after it actually released. So it was just like, fuck this. I only want to see Happy Death Day. But I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it kind of threw in new concepts for it. But now with this movie, I feel like it's a little bit more parallel.
Yeah.
But I recommend watching it. I feel like the characters in it are fun, and I don't know.
I think Natasha Lyonne was a really good choice for the
was.
show too. Like, just because like it's all based off of her and her kind of addictions that she has. So I think she plays the character very, very well.
Well, you need somebody like crass and gritty. Like
Yeah,
she
right.
is.
So, and not to mention, like, I think the only other thing I've seen with her in it besides Orange is the New Black is American Pie.
Right? That's my only reference as well.
Yeah, I always
got
forget she's in that.
so much
Fuck,
range.
yeah.
And she plays the same thing. Like, she's a crass, gritty character.
Yeah.
Actually, whenever we started watching it, Brad was like, "Oh, is she a lesbian in this too?" Because she's a lesbian in everything. She was a lesbian in American Pie and in Orange is the New Black. And he was just like, wait, is she a lesbian in real life? And then immediately, like within the first 10 minutes, he was like, oh, wait, no. Like, she's
I fell down that
She's not
Natasha
in this.
Lyonne hole.
breaking that mold just from that.
I just wanted to know.
Don't stereotype her. Don't put her in a box. Typecast that shit.
Yeah,
Man,
Brad,
I'm an asshole.
Bradley.
You're right.
get out.
It's true.
Bradley. Anything else?
No, I mean, besides that, I've been watching The Office because we were going to do an Office trivia.
Nice.
So we did not win.
Aw,
I would be useless as
there's
well.
so much content.
It's too much
Yeah.
content. Like, we did a Parks and Rec one a couple of months ago, and Brad and I could have done it, like, just the two of us. We know so much about that show.
Pros. Pros.
But like The Office, like whenever I sat down and I was with my family, with my cousins, they did a ton of studying, and I was like, I kind of like casually watched it. I just am not as passionate about that show as I am Parks and Rec. So,
Well-
but it was fun. But the questions, I was like, this is bullshit. Who knows these things?
They literally asked you how many minutes Michael Scott spent in the office.
Yeah.
How many minutes he was
Yeah.
there.
that you would
That was
have
a
to
question.
guess.
Yeah.
That was a question. I was like, this is stupid.
You sit there with a stopwatch.
Yeah.
Well, in season 9, they like sing to him whenever he leaves.
Yeah.
Or did he leave season 8? I don't know. Whatever the
I don't know.
episode
Whatever
that he
season.
actually leaves, they sing that song. I don't even know what musical that's
it's
from.
the song from Rent.
From
the 500.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they
See, Rob
sing
knows.
like they did the math and sang it to him with the minutes that he was there. And they asked what that was. I was just like, I'm out.
Nice.
I can't do this.
I'm not nerdy enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty nerdy, but like, I guess I'm not that much of a fan. So I was like, I'll check
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Wait for you guys outside.
I'm with you. The Office is aight. It's aight.
It's a good show. It's a lot of content, and there's
Yeah.
like not all of it is good.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, it did feel like overall Parks and Rec was more consistent. I always like went back and forth about like which show I loved more, but like I would have to say that I think Parks and Rec is more consistently good because like after like season. Like, I think maybe like season 6, maybe The Office, like they had some rough episodes and even like halves of seasons where you're just like, oh man, they need to go ahead and wrap this up.
Once Will Ferrell shows up, you're just like, I'm out.
well, it's Will Ferrell. Ray Romano shows up.
Oh yeah, Jim
Jim
Carrey.
Carrey.
Oh, yeah,
Damn.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Like they're just there for an episode, but Will Ferrell's there for like 4 or something.
Nice.
Yeah,
Something
except for a bit.
Whatever.
Very nice. Cool. I watched a few movies this week. The first one I want to talk about was a movie that was actually recommended to us from a listener that left a voicemail last episode. Good Sir Perfecto.
Yeah, from our Hotline Scream, baby.
Hotline Scream.
I'm dubbing it while Randy's gone.
That's
I'm
fine.
taking the spot.
Just staking your claim. That's what we're going to call it now.
What happens when you have parents, Randy?
Life is shit. He called in and recommended that we check out a movie called Society it's like this crazy body horror movie from the 80s that none of us had ever seen before. So I picked it up and watched it, and I freaking loved it, man. I got a really good kick out of it. It's a Brian Yuzna movie. And Brian Yuzna always works with this practical effects artist by the name of Screaming Mad George. And he kind of lives up to his name, because whenever you watch one of these Brian Yuzna movies, there's just like, it's just like so sweaty and gooey, and there's just like limbs and blood and just chaos.
How about those alien Yabos, Bob, plus half star?
No, that's your rule, not mine. But I guess.
Oh God, Bob's too good for the Yabos. I always forget.
I don't have to adopt your methods, Justin. I do need to impress you, though. So
too good.
Maybe I'll think about it.
Do you think I would give the half star for the Yabos? I don't
Yeah.
always give the half star for the Yabos.
You would.
Okay.
You would. It's confirmed. Society is freaking a lot of fun, though. I had a really good time with it. If you want to watch absurd practical effects, that's kind of the movie to go to. It's my new jam. Thanks, Perfecto. I also watched a movie called The Golem, which is the latest release from Dread and Epic Pictures. It's about a monster, the Golem, which I didn't really know anything about. I guess it's related to Judaism, which in some way, it's like this creature that you can create that basically kills your enemies for you.
Wait, are you
Bob,
Lord of
don't
the
you
Rings?
watch The Simpsons
Yes.
Treehouse of Horrors? Bob, come on.
Some.
This is where we get our culture.
I don't
You're
know.
a fan, Rob?
I can't watch
Yeah.
everything. I only have 2 eyeballs.
You mean 30-something seasons isn't enough for you to
No,
watch
it's sorry.
just the Treehouse of Horrors
it-
episodes?
Sorry.
It like actually kind of blows my mind how much I've just learned from like world history and culture and art and film from the fucking Simpsons.
That's why
Like
it's the
I'm like
greatest show
once, yeah, it like it really did like just like subconsciously like teach me so much. Like I only know of that Jewish like folklore because of the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know otherwise. So
Thank you,
thanks,
Matt
Simpsons.
Groening, for teaching us how to live lives and grow up to be shitty adults, hopeless, shitty adults.
It's inevitable.
And
Disney
Disney.
told me so.
It is.
Mary Poppins.
The Golem was I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's like a period piece, a period drama with. It's got like a lot of, I don't know, like matriarchal themes to it, which were kind of interesting. The main character is like super well written and like the performance is pretty great. But as far as like a monster movie goes, it was just okay. I didn't really love it. Didn't really hate it.
When was it made?
It just came out like a month ago. Something like that.
It's hard to take it seriously because of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I recently read something about it was Tolkien got a letter from like the Nazis saying that they wanted to translate the books, but they wanted to translate it into German, but they wanted to verify that he wasn't Jewish
Yeah.
first. So now I kind of feel like, wait a minute, like maybe they weren't far off of just like
Maybe.
thinking that he could be Jewish.
Yeah.
But he wrote this really like sarcastic letter back about how he's like, I wish I was Jewish because it's such rich culture and amazing
Nice.
people and all this stuff. But
You Nazi bastards.
Fuck off, Nazis.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Don't read my books.
Burn them. If you're going to burn any books, burn mine. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I've been watching. Let's go ahead and get into the main event and talk about a little movie called Start off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
What is on the back of the box? This is like the shortest and worst plot synopsis ever. I think I probably should have found a better one.
I just want to mention that I like can't hear the audio of Bob's plugs even last time, and as soon as he hit a space bar, I can hear the click of the space bar, and I knew exactly what it was. I knew like Bob's that predictable.
I pressed the A button, Justin, so I guess I'm not that predictable
Yes.
after all.
I
Okay.
guess I can't tell the clicking distinction.
You don't know me, sir. You stay in your little box on my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
You stay over there. Happy Death Day to you. Obviously, the sequel to Happy Death Day. This movie, the plot synopsis is as follows. Tree Gelbman discovers that dying over and over was surprisingly easier than the dangers that lie ahead, which is really just her dying over and over again. It's kind of the same thing. Directed by Christopher Landon. A Blumhouse joint. So, real quick, let's go around the table and talk about Happy Death Day, sort of like your first impression, and if you would recommend people go out to the movie theater and watch this bad boy. Juice, how are you feeling about Happy Death Day?
I had a lot of fun watching it. I guess I would preface by saying, like I said, I just watched the first one this week. And if you enjoyed the first one, I don't know why you wouldn't enjoy the second one. I guess to me. So like if it's like to me, it's a good it's a horror comedy. So like don't go in like expecting to get scared or anything like that. But if I thought it actually blended horror and comedy and like even a little like feel goodness. Like, I don't know. I thought it was like a pretty well-rounded, fun movie. It was a fun, dumb movie.
Yeah. Would you recommend people go out to the theater to check it out?
Yeah, I mean, nothing else is fucking out right now, right? I mean,
Not really.
I don't think so.
The Prodigy is out.
Yeah, might as well. I was excited. Like, I was excited just to like have an excuse to go to the theater. I guess Glass was the last one. I mean, fuck that. So
I thought you loved that one, didn't you? Like,
dude,
wasn't that your favorite?
No, I didn't.
Life is shit. Stephanie?
Did you start like in Glass and then you like hated it at the end of the conversation? Who was that?
Well, no,
Or was
Randy.
that was
I
Andy?
think we
Okay.
talk Randy down. Yeah,
Randy, you don't like
he was
life.
going in like he was gonna like, oh shit, I gotta defend this movie, but he couldn't.
We broke his spirit. Yes.
Way to go.
Steph, what about you? Would you recommend people check it out?
I would. I'm a huge fan of the first one. I actually just got a movie pass when the first one came out. So this was like popping my movie pass cherry. Was the
yeah.
first movie that I
Nice.
saw.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like not about it at all. Somebody else, a friend of mine, convinced me to go see it with her, and I was like, this is not a good movie. I really want to like get a really good movie to start this pass off. But we had a ton of fun at the theater seeing that, and I couldn't stop talking about it. And it took me a long time. Like Brad recently saw it in like October, where I was like, "We're buying this movie so you can finally see it." So I'm a big fan of that, and I was been really excited about this movie. So I would definitely recommend going to see it if you're a fan of the first one. But I'm still kind of marinating on it. Like I'm not quite sure like how I really feel about this one.
I hear you.
Yet. Yeah.
We just exited the Tinseltown.
Yep.
Bradley, how you feeling?
So I think for me, like I definitely would recommend this movie, especially if you like the first one. But I think a lot of the reasoning behind it is just because I grew up in the 90s with like stupid slasher films.
What a loser.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's
this
true.
is like
Yeah.
the new generation of Scream almost.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
If you like Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer or, what have you, and thought that there was probably stupid things about those movies that they never addressed, then this is a really good movie for you just because they absolutely do address a lot of that stuff and bring light to it. Just to kind of show that a lot of this is dumb, but it's still fun. Like, still tons of fun to watch. So,
Yeah.
so I would do it. I would say, yeah, you should watch it.
Put your cheeks in the seats.
Do it.
Do it. I really enjoyed the first one more than I anticipated I would as well. It's good, dumb fun. And it surprised me that it actually had some like emotionally grounded moments in it. And same for the sequel, actually, more so than you would expect from a movie with like this kind of premise and this kind of like dumb comedy going throughout it. But yeah, if you like the first one, you'll like the second one. I don't see why you wouldn't at all. It's definitely... I don't know that I'd honestly call this much of a horror movie at all. It's got, obviously it's inspired by like a slasher movie, kind of, but it's more of like a time travel movie, time loop movie than anything. And it's, I don't know, it's entertaining, it's well made. yeah, go see it. I recommend it for sure. I can't wait to hear what Randy has to say. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and drop that spoiler warning, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty.
Spoiler warning.
There you go. Happy Death Day to you. So this movie, the way it kind of opens is it almost seems like it's going to be more of Ryan's movie, or like Tree's friend in the first movie. He's like, I guess, a science major or something like that. You come to find out, because it starts off with him in a time loop, and you're like, okay, this might just be like more about him actually. But you come to find out that he creates this sort of like machine that creates the time loop in the first movie, which, you know, is not mentioned whatsoever. They kind of retcon that here. So like in the first movie, you kind of think there's some sort of reason that this time loop is happening is giving Tree like a second chance to like go back and fix something in her life, but that's not necessarily true at all. It's just this crazy machine that exists that you don't know anything about until the sequel, which is interesting, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't hint at that at all in the trailer, right? Like,
yeah,
that was a surprise to everybody, right?
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was
Actually,
in the
since
trailer.
it like ruined, everybody kept saying like, "Oh my god, it ruined the first movie." I didn't watch the trailer or whatever because I hadn't seen it until this week. So I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
fuck that trailer, I guess." And also, I guess I would just like to say, we never covered Happy Death Day on this cast, and we dropped a spoiler warning. But like, if it's, I don't know why you'd be watching this movie if you hadn't seen the first one, but we're gonna spoil the first one. We have to.
Yeah.
This movie, I mean, this cast is essentially going to be a cast of these of this series, because it's like this. It's pretty much, this movie is like an alternate ending to the first movie. I mean, like, the choices that they made are like, because the whole premise is like a multiverse premise, like, oh, you're in an alternate reality, so certain things are slightly different, but it's essentially like the first movie with different options. Like, it's like a choose your own story where we have now picked a different version of the first movie. So we're gonna spoil the first movie too.
Yeah. That is
just fair warning.
That is correct. And they totally, in the trailer, they tell you exactly like who the killer is for the first movie. But in a movie like this, it almost doesn't really matter that much. Like, the stakes are so low, and you're really more in it for like the ride than you are to really find out like who the bad guy is. Because that was sort of like the one thing that I didn't like about the original, is when you do find out that it's like her roommate, and she does it because she's like jealous of this affair that Tree is having, and it's just kind of like a weak ending to me, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, that's why I feel like it's very Scream.
Yeah.
Is that Scream, it's constantly changing of who the killer is.
Yeah.
And that's what this one did too, even with the very end of it, when you're like, oh, like, do we care about these people? Like,
yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of thought this movie made the first one a little better in those kind of ways, because like, well, I mean,
Go ahead.
No, I'm not saying this second one is better than the first one. I'm saying like the choices that they made maybe like helped develop the characters in the first one. Because in the first one,
Oh yeah, for sure.
okay, we've dropped the spoiler warning. We're spoiling the first movie. You've gotten fair warning. Like, the killer is her roommate or whatever, and we don't really get to spend a whole lot of time with the roommate. So yeah, when it drops, you're like, okay, I guess she hates her or whatever. But everybody kind of hates her. But in this one, like, the roommate is the one having the affair, so you get like a little bit of background. Okay, maybe there was like a bit more of like emotional like weight there, or like, from that character's perspective, you can be like, oh, they're actually together. So like, you could see maybe like where that jealousy came from or something like that. I don't know. It felt like it kind of boosted the first movie up a little bit, where there wasn't maybe as much character development, and you get to spend more time with some of these people, I guess, since they're all the same people.
And I think it's kind of funny how in the first one, Ryan, I think his name's Ryan. Right?
Yeah, the guy who creates the device. Yeah.
He never at any point says, hey, I'm some type of time scientist. I'm like a quantum
super genius.
theorist right now. And I have a device.
Like nothing though. In the first film, like, he's literally just there to like
He's
run in
at
the room
door
and like say something about like the bomb ass pussy or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he really
like
was.
that's like his only line.
That's why I was really relieved that it wasn't him over and over. Like whenever it first started and you go through what he's going through twice, I was just like, I don't know if I can watch this whole movie. It's just him over and over. But once you find out that he's this super genius that caused this, I was like, okay, maybe he's not just a douchebag that you just want to like punch in the face.
Yeah, it turns out to be like more of a normal person than just like this dude bro that he is in the first movie, which is, it's cool that they flesh his character out a lot more. And then all of his like team of like super smart cronies that help him figure out the correct algorithm to finally close the time loop in this movie. There's just kind of like more characters and more character development in general going on in this movie. And I love that they do that classic like 80s evil Dean character.
Yeah.
I fucking love that for some reason. He's just unnecessarily hell-bent on like shutting their little science program down. And I love that he's just like kind of a bumbling idiot and that he's watching Jackson Galaxy on the TV.
Oh, God, that was the worst.
He's way into his cat.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a portrait of him holding a cat.
I love that shit.
I don't know if you guys
and
know
his
this.
cat tie.
His cat tie,
I forgot about that.
Way
So-
into cats.
So I have this. I hate Jackson Galaxy just because of his fucking sideburns.
So-
they are the worst.
For those
And that he carries a guitar case full of cat toys.
For those that don't know who Jackson Galaxy is, you want to explain it?
Yeah, he is. What's his title? Like cat whisperer? Or
Yeah, like
something
cat
that?
therapist or
cat
something?
therapist. I don't know, but he travels around. His gimmick, his whole gimmick is just stupid.
Well, it's like a Guy Fieri type.
Yeah, it's like the Guy Fieri, except he doesn't whisper to hamburgers or whatever. He whispers to kittens.
Dog, whisper to my cheeseburger. It'll taste better.
Yeah.
But he has these stupid fucking sideburns that like he is bald. He's bald and he has sideburns somehow still. And then it like cuts off and he has this line that starts into his beard and like, why would you ever do this to us? Every time I see him, I get angry.
I feel like people should be free to express themselves, whatever they want to do. But the fucking guitar case full of cat toys is where I draw the line.
It's like a lie.
Yeah.
He's
like,
got a band.
Does he even play guitar?
He's got a band.
Yeah, he has a band.
Are they the Galaxy Bros?
I'm going to try and find the name real quick.
Is
I
it a
can't
band
remember.
of cats?
I
Instead
hope
of band
so.
of horses, band of cats.
It's got to be cat themed, right?
Galaxy cats.
Yeah, it's just called the Jackson Galaxy Band.
Oh, it's not Jackson and the Pussycats?
Oh, Jackson and the Pussycat.
Do they wear cat ears?
No, I
And
don't.
tails?
I don't think so. No. Anyway, that's
Don't ruin my dream, Rob.
God, that man's sideburns.
deep.
Yeah, they're just
Brad passionately hates this man.
those sideburns are offensive to my
rough.
sensibilities.
Yeah, and the dean aspect, because they do this whole like heist kind of thing where they have to steal from the dean, and this is where like I felt like his character and things surrounding that is really where the lines of like horror started to kind of blend away, because like actually, to be fair, the first like 45 minutes of this movie, and even then like the last, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 minutes of this movie, like follow like the original, like pretty close as far as like tone goes, like where it's blending like the comedy and the horror, because like in the first, like you get like, and I've heard Randy's critique, so I'm kind of referencing this a little bit, but Randy was like, there's no on-screen kills, like people get shot in the chest or whatever, and that's not like true, because like Ryan gets stabbed a couple times, and then you see the roommate like get stabbed, die a couple times, and then you have like a whole like suicide montage. Yeah, which I mean is like levity, but still it's like dark. It's really like she's finding different ways to kill herself, and they're always like brutal. Like she throws herself into a wood chipper and like blood splatters everywhere. So
Which,
like,
did
yeah,
you
I mean
see
they
the
do it.
name on the side of that?
Yeah.
Biff's tree removal service.
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I did notice
And the
that.
clock tower kill as well, I think was kind of a reference.
nice.
It was very,
Damn, I
very
didn't
Zemeckis
even, like-
heavy in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was holding
yeah.
that in.
Sorry.
The Biffs.
The Biffs.
I figured you'd
Yeah,
probably
and-
say it in trivia anyway.
Trivia, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but even like the killer reveal at the end, like, yeah, okay, like he like the shooting people and stuff like that. But and like the like serial killer guy or whatever who's like let loose in the hospital, like he's still in this too. So
Yeah.
like I mean, it definitely is more comedic and is lighter than the first one, and it's mostly because of like that Dean and the heist, kind of like they spend a lot of time where like they have to steal his machine back, or where the Dean's trying to like foil a plan. And like, yeah, that's all comedy. Like there's no horror aspect in that storyline. But I mean, for the most part, like it kind of stays true to that OG, you know, feeling.
Yeah, wasn't
with
there?
just that extra Dean thrown in. So I mean, I don't know. I thought it was like horror. I mean, it's getting dangerously close to not being, but I mean, it had enough in there.
Wasn't there a montage like that in the first one of just her dying over and over and over again and trying something new?
Probably.
Yeah, and it had
I
the
believe
same
so.
kind of levity, because at that point she was trying to catch the killer. So at one point she's like spying on like the doctor's wife, and she's like all camoed out, and she has like night vision goggles on, and it's like got this like boppy kind of music, and like the killer like jumps from the hedges from the side and like kills her. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I didn't think that they were that different from the original. Like, as far, I mean, except with that extra Dean presence, and I think that really seemed to skew it, because he was such a strong, like, you know, like from the, like Rob said, like it's a character that, you know, like from your favorite comedies from like the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. So it kind of resonates that way. Like this is a comedy character, and all his scenes are very comedic, but like, I don't know, it still had this, like, the horror aspects from the original, I thought.
Yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, they wanted to have something gory and gross, but then they also like Ferris Bueller a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice blend. There's definitely a blend going on here. It's kind of like something that everybody can enjoy, even if you're not really into horror movies. This might be like a nice crossover movie. I'm wondering, like, how well it did this weekend, how much money it made. I'm a little curious. And did you watch?
I don't think the number. Yeah.
Probably not. Did you watch the all the way to the end, Justin? There was like an after or like a mid-credit scene that happens.
I didn't. What was it?
It's well, pretty much as soon as they finished filming the second movie, the writer or whatever said he had an idea for a third. So if this one makes enough money, I'm sure they'll make that third one. But basically,
they've already started.
Yeah, cool. I'm down for the trilogy. But basically, the little mid-credit scene that they have is some agency, some like government agency takes the time loop machine, and then they like go grab all the kids, and they're like, "Hey, come show us how to work this thing." And they walk into this big government facility, and they want to like purposefully put someone in a time loop to see how it actually works. And then Tree's like, "Oh, I think I have the perfect candidate for something like that." And then it cuts to her friend, who in the first movie is kind of like a douchebag, but in the second movie turns out to be really nice. It cuts to her like sitting up in bed and screaming, assuming like making you think she's going to be the guinea pig for whatever experimentation.
Oh, the girl
they do.
who pretended to be blind or whatever?
Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Dude,
if this one is like, the first one was supposed to be Groundhog's Day, and this one's Back to the Future, what is the third one going to be?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I
Return
don't
of the
know. Return of the Jedi.
just like
The Last Crusade.
It's Indiana
I
Jones.
thought
yeah.
Dude, just this premise alone, like, gives these guys like a boost up for me, because God, this movie, it's like it plays out as so dumb and just stupid fun, but like these are some cheeky bastards, man. Like they do, like, we cover so many movies and so many times, like I've seen bad, you know, like this is everything that they've done through these two movies, and the way that they set the sequel up, even though like, oh, multiverse and stuff like that, but the way that they've executed and stuff like that is like they've done a good job. Like I was, as a sequel and how it played out, and like even though like it's ridiculous and the machine and everything like that, it essentially explores the alternatives of the first movie. Like, there's so many in the first movie. There's so many like red herrings, like, oh, who is the killer? And that's like part of the fun, like Brad, like of the 90s, kind of like the mystery kind of thing of like the screams and the, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's like, who is the killer and stuff like that. And they take that and they're able to like do it again in the sequel because to make it still make sense. It really is almost like it's like if in 20 years they like redid this movie, but they really just made it a sequel instead. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it still fits that original premise. It still makes sense. Like, oh yeah, of course that dude would have like a premise. And of course, like, because we thought he was a suspect like in the first one. So I don't know. I think it's like actually, even though it plays out as like big kind of dumb fun, I think it's like pretty clever, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. It's very smart. It's very well done, especially when you look at the first movie. Like there's really no need for a sequel to this, but I'm glad that they didn't make the exact same thing. Obviously, there's some repetition because that's built into the plot and like the whole story, but they introduce like this crazy spin with this machine and like new fresh characters. And they have like the sequences with Tree's mother. So like in this side universe or this alternate reality that she gets thrown into in this movie, her mother is alive. When the first movie, her mother has been murdered. And there's that sequence where like she's at her birthday dinner and she finally sees her mom for the first time in however many years, and it's like super heartfelt. And then there's that other scene towards the end of the movie where she tells her mother goodbye, basically, because she's going to go back to her time.
And even like she has like discussions with her, and even then I was like, there were some things like in this big dumb goofy ass fucking horror movie that were just kind of like touching like my life. I was like, dang, she was like, oh, you gotta like let go of the past and let the future, and like having a heartfelt thing. Like it was like having a talk with your like mom who it like played out the whole premise of your mom's dead and you've mourned her and now you get a second chance to talk to her. Like that played out like a drama type of movie. And I was like, damn.
And I felt it too. It didn't feel like ham-fisted or forced or anything like that. So you have this movie is like, it seems as though everything that it's trying to do, it's like pulling off, like totally pulling off. So if you go into this movie like expecting it to be like a normal slasher movie, or if you go into it like expecting to take the entire thing seriously, you're kind of missing the point, but it still manages to surprise you with those like heartfelt moments and like pull at your heartstrings and stuff. So it's not just a popcorn movie, but it is very much a popcorn movie, you know? It's kind of got a lot going on for it.
Yeah. So I guess I didn't really understand what this whole movie was going to be about initially, because I mean, just from the point of it being a sequel, I thought it was going to be about all of them going back and redoing the same time loop over and over. Yeah. But the second that the machine got set off and Tree was the only one that woke up, I was like, fuck, this is going to be the first movie all over again. But they did a really good job just kind of introducing the alternate universe and having different elements and the mom being there. Like I thought that was really interesting. And you're right. They really did hit on anything that they were trying to hit on, that wasn't just like dumb comedy or just kind of like stupid fluff. Like they did a good job with the movie.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah. I will say, like, not to just like cream all over this movie, because I mean it's got some problems too. Like so like the logic of it, the whole like the internal conflict is like, okay, I'm in an alternate universe where things are slightly different. And the biggest thing is my mom is not dead, which is fucking huge. Like your mom is dead, or like I'm not my boyfriend is like dating my like sorority like bitch, she's not like, they're not like best friends. Like I don't know, she's like she doesn't like her, but
that's what they call each other.
But that's the whole thing. Is like, oh, I'm not with this boyfriend. But here's the whole thing about it. And she has to choose. Like Ryan gives her a choice. Like, oh, do you want to go back to the OG universe where like you're with your boyfriend, but your mom is there? You want to stay here where your mom is alive? By the end of it's like, just because the guy is like still a nice guy. Like if they made him maybe a little bit of a dick or something like that, you know, like he's a slightly different person. But like by the end, it plays out like they're making out. It's like it just because this guy is like dating this bitch. And it even shows like she doesn't care about him. Like she's sleeping with another guy and she's essentially using him to do her homework. So, and like he obviously like by the end of this, like still kind of has feelings for her, even in this alternate universe. So it's like, keep the universe where your fucking mom is alive and then just like dates. You can still date this guy. Like there's no reason you couldn't. Like that's crazy. Why would you? What?
She had
they
that
played
thing.
a little bit on it where like she was like going through her phone and like like her memories with her mom like weren't her memories, but it's only like 3 years. Like her mom's only been dead for like 3, so it's like fuck that. Like I'm keeping my mom and I can still date this dude. Like give it like 2 weeks and I'll just like steal this dude away from this bitch. Like who fucking cares?
Wouldn't there be, because she's in that timeline, wouldn't herself that would be like the other version that's supposed to be in that dimension is thrown into the other timeline. So there's got to be some type of moral dilemma of her being like, I just threw myself in this other timeline, and she's going to wake up and be like, my mom's dead.
My mom is dead. And I thought they were going to play that more.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to ride on that more as the moral dilemma, but they didn't. Like they didn't like really like focus on it. Like it kind of like alludes to that. Like, yeah, it's not you or whatever. But they didn't like really like hone in on that as much as I thought they would.
Well, that was the other thing about Lori too, is that she kept trying to save her and all this stuff. And I was like, did y'all have a good relationship prior though? Like, did you have? I mean, I understand you want to save people, but like that's hard for us, the audience, to go from her being the murderer, trying to kill her with a cupcake, and then try to stab her or frame this other serial killer dude, to her being like having this moment with her. Like, I understand that she wanted to save her because she is innocent in this timeline, but did she have to have that moment of being like, you're better than that, don't be with this married man, I've been through this. So I was just like, I don't need this moment, you can take it out.
You literally did this exact same thing in an alternate timeline.
She's grown, Bradley.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So poor other version of her thinks like she's also like, she murdered this girl that she thinks is her friend.
Well, and
shit, yeah, damn, that other girl's having a hard time.
Yeah, it's rough time for her. For what's her name, Lori?
Yeah. Well, no, Lori is dead in the other one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, so one thing is I had a really tough time just remembering all these people's names just because they're all like just a stereotype.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, what's the boyfriend's name? Dave or Dan? Or
I don't know, man. I'd have to look it up.
All right, exactly.
Carter.
Is it Carter?
Standard.
Only
white
because
dude
like they
name.
focused on it so much in the first movie. Like, oh, do you remember my name? And I just watched that one, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, I guess that makes
But
sense.
I had to think about it. I had to stop and be like, wait, I think it's Carter.
Well, but in this alternate timeline, she literally knows that Carter's girlfriend is cheating on him.
Yeah.
So she could easily break them up and then get together.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? How does that make sense?
And they're already getting together. Like before she leaves the time loop, like she's like making out with him. It's like, well, there it is. It took one day. It took a couple hours, and they stole him away. And you get to keep your fucking mom. It's like, what? That's not much of a dilemma.
Well, he also, does he know that she cheated at that point, or is he just like, I like you?
I don't think
more?
he does.
I don't think
So
so.
is Carter a good guy in that dimension?
She's a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because
and-
he's also with this woman that is using him.
Yeah.
But that's how they get her to go along with distracting the dean, is because she can hold that over her
she's
head
blackmailing her.
and blackmail her. So
Which that whole like blind French woman scene is ridiculous.
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
That's what made it feel more rom-commy, and you're just like, come on.
Yeah. I
What are
didn't
we
mind
doing
it.
It was
this?
pretty like funny though. It was cracking me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. It was just, that was sort of the most over the top section. Like it's slapstick.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like straight up slapstick comedy.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like that I say that's like clever about it. It's like, yeah, okay, it is slapsticky and like rom-com, but to blend all of these genres together, to me, in such a like well crafted kind of way. Like it takes a lot of kind of like wit and thought. Like actually, like when you like really think about like what this movie pulls off, it actually like did a good job. I think like it's actually more impressive than it comes off as like on the surface.
Yeah. One of the things they had at the beginning of the movie is like that duplicate Ryan
Yes.
that comes back. And,
Bothers me so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
and you find out like they unmask the killer in the first like 20 minutes of the movie, and it's a duplicate version of Ryan, and they tie him up, and he's like, you know, basically begging the other Ryan to not set the machine off again because he's going to do way more harm than he is good. But he sets it off anyway, and that's what throws Tree back into her version of the time loop. And I expected in this movie that there was going to be like way more duplicates. I thought we were going to get like duplicate trees and stuff like that. But that makes me wonder, like, you know, so he apparently came back from the future to stop himself from doing this. It's like, what terrible stuff was that guy trying to stop from happening? Like, did he just ruin like all the other multiverses, or you know, did he create some monster or something? Like, I don't know. I assume that hopefully the third movie is going to get more into that.
That's what kind of bothered me about like when you get towards the end of the movie and you're expecting like the last killer to be Tree, a duplicate version of her. Like when the credits start and you don't even see that extra little video, you know, mid credits of showing that there's going to be a third one. You, as a viewer, you're like, this never came back again.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do with that information? So it felt like unnecessary plot hole in it.
Well,
like, couldn't it just been a killer and then they think that they killed a killer and find, you know, and then release the thing anyway? Sissy put it off, you know?
It could have been
like
anyone,
is
really.
Is it necessary to have it be another duplicate at that point?
Yeah.
Like if you're not going to introduce that everybody is going to go through a loop, because that's the way the trailer made it seem, is that every one of them is going to start going through a loop. So that's what I thought. I was like, okay, Ryan's going to go through it. Tree's going to go through it again. It looked like Danielle was going to go through it because she wakes up in that scream. And I think I'm pretty certain that is in the trailer and they just moved it to the end.
Ah, interesting.
Well, and I think it's funny that alternate timeline Ryan, his decision-making process, he decides to try to go back and murder himself.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, so you know that he's working on this machine with like time factors in it, and it doesn't seem to be hard to get any of them convinced to do anything.
Seriously, yeah.
But is it a future self or is he another dimension?
Ooh,
You know, that's a good question.
That's
It
a
could be
darn good
side
question.
Ryan,
I don't
not
know.
future Ryan. Holy shit.
evil
We
Ryan.
never know. It never comes back.
Happy Death Day 3.
Because they don't kill him, right?
No, they just tie him up
No.
and then
Yeah.
they hit the
Yeah, and then the machine goes off. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't know how I feel about it. Like if I did really like this or not.
You don't know.
It's
if
got
you-
some holes.
I mean, yeah, it does for sure.
Yeah, just because of, I feel like that felt very unfinished, like an idea they threw in, or like that had to do with like an alternate ending. Because we bought Happy Death Day and I watched they had alternative endings and they had a couple of scenes that they took out. Some of them are really unnecessary. So I feel like maybe this was something like there was another duplicate that they removed just for the sake of time, or it wasn't necessary. They just felt like they just didn't want to go in that direction.
Make it too messy, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because like the scene with her jumping out of the plane in the bikini was added in after they already finished some of this stuff.
Oh, okay.
They went back and did that. So like, could they have done that with there was a duplicate in it? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious to see more of that, though. I really like that aspect of it, like, crossing parallel universes or whatever. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah. It was an unexpected
Yeah.
twist of what they put in. And I was actually wondering, like, whenever the Universal comes up in the beginning, you know, the first one, it plays it over and over.
Yeah.
For it to be like, you know, this is your foreshadowing for it. So whenever it showed like 3 screens together, I was like, what the hell is this? So now it makes more sense, like going through the whole movie and being like, okay, so it's more of another dimension time loop.
I'm waiting for this to become a Cloverfield movie with the alternate dimensions.
Oh God, dude!
Netflix is gonna surprise.
They said it's a good movie, and then they just decided to add some monsters or aliens or God knows what in at the end. So maybe that's what alternate Ryan's trying to stop. Who knows?
That's right.
This is Cloverfield. That's
No.
the third one. Is that the third one's gonna tie into Cloverfield.
Worst movie ever.
It is a paradox. Why?
You're gonna see John Goodman. It's just gonna walk
man.
by in the third one.
I would sign up for John Goodman being in the third installment of this movie. Keep the monsters, though.
If that happens, then we need to recast this, and I would probably shit all over this movie at that point.
I mean, we haven't figured out what movie they're gonna tie it in with yet, so it
Yeah.
might be Cloverfield.
The third good one, they're just retconning that piece of shit. Cloverfield. What was it called?
Paradox.
Paradox. Oh,
Oh,
my God.
God.
It was-
What if they do like some shitty rom-com, like it's like Ghosts of Girlfriend's Past or something, or whatever that Matthew McConaughey movie, whenever he's like haunted by his girlfriends. I don't know what it
fall
was.
in love with the giant monster, like Shape of Water.
Shape
type.
of Water.
Yes. I'd be down with that.
There's like an alternate Carter where he's a reptile.
He's got a fish
Like, I
pee-pee.
still love him.
Nobody notices. He just
Oh, that's just Carter. He's always been that way. It's no big deal.
Old Scarely Carter.
He's amphibious as fuck. Do you guys have anything else we need to touch on before we rate this bad boy? Silence.
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think we touched most of the stuff. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Justin, do you care to kick us off out of 5? How are you feeling about Happy Death Day to you?
Yeah, sure. I think the series works as a whole. I was pleased with the sequel. I was pleased with the original. I know it strays pretty far from horror. Like it really almost just kind of like breaks out completely. But I think there's enough in there. And just the other stuff was done so well that I'm like willing to forgive it, I guess. But I mean, I gotta recognize like this is no perfect movie by any means. It was just able to entertain me and I had fun with it. And I don't know, it did after watching the first one. It's like so close to this one. Her reliving the same day again, like did start to get a little tedious. Like once she like started to do, I was like, okay, I just watched this. And even in that first one, it starts to get a little tedious. So, it's, watching these movies, it's not something I'd want to do like a whole lot just because of that. It's like, okay. But I thought that they worked well together, and it really does kind of touch on that period piece for me of like, I do like enjoy like the 90s, the kind of horror I grew up in, or like the era. And of course, like to me, like this is kind of like a Scream 1 and 2 light. Like it's nowhere near like Scream good level, but it's like a light, like a light kind of version, and they do it well. So for this movie specifically, I don't know. I think I'll give it like a 2.5 to try and be like fair. Like I feel like personally I enjoy it more than that. But I think when all the dust settles and everything's said and done, I think 2.5 is fair for the long haul for this movie.
All right, conservative Justin. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying not to like, I don't know. And because a lot of it is like right from the first one too. Like I'd never seen it. So like I was like very pleasantly surprised. So, trying to be, trying to be fair.
All right. Steph, how are you feeling out of 5?
I did enjoy this movie. The first one is definitely better. I thought that it was a good alternative to it, and that it really like was different from what I was expecting, which I feel like it was a good thing, that it was more of a dimensional thing and not just the loop over and over. I'm still very much relieved it wasn't fully about Ryan. I think it's got to lose a little bit of points for not using the Alien Ant Farm song.
I'm sorry, what does that sound like again? Oh no, wait.
Happy Death Day to you.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's just such a missed opportunity. I mean, if you have to choose between what you're going to put in, like, don't put in that song, You're Beautiful.
Right.
Like, that would have been so much
especially
better.
for a movie that's trying to like reference the 90s horror. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know that's like that song is like what, 2000, maybe 2001, but it's close enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not saying I'm a hardcore Alien Ant Farm fan, but if they have it in the lyrics,
No,
like,
it should be.
Oh, hey, oh.
They
Hey.
even credit 99 bottles of beer and
Yeah.
then freaking happy birthday at the end of the movie.
They do, yeah.
choose what you're
Like-
going to pay for. Or maybe Alien Ant Farm is just like, fuck that series, man. Like, we don't want
Yeah,
anything
maybe.
to do with it.
I think they'd take the money.
is
They'd
too meta.
probably take the money.
Yeah, they
What else are they
probably would.
doing?
Yeah.
So it's got to lose a little bit of points for that. Or maybe they just don't know about it.
It's possible. Not probable, but I guess it's possible.
But
Alien Ant Farm, watch this movie, please. You've got to.
they're the biggest fans. They're just holding out for like the final installment.
Man, they're holding out for a long time.
Yeah, the long con here. Long
But-
con.
I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. Sounds good. Bradley, out of 5, how do you feel?
So I definitely enjoyed this movie. Like it's fun and stupid. I mean, we've kind of reiterated that the whole time. I think maybe it was a little longer than I would have wanted it to be. Initially, there was a couple points where I checked my watch and it's an hour and 40 minutes. It's like that. I think that alone is even just kind of nitpicking. 'Cause it was fun the whole time. So, I say as far as my score goes, I was trying to avoid giving it a 3 because I think there are some flaws with it. Like Tree basically becomes a quantum physicist in like they said the first one she died 11 times. I think they confirmed.
Yeah.
And so I know that she is not going to learn that giant algorithm in 11 days. So, you know, that, like I said, that's still being stupid because that's not what the movie is about. It's about just enjoying it. And then there's also that guy that was clapping with a knife who is also a
Yeah,
doctor,
you didn't mention
which
that.
it drove me crazy. It's like, this man should not be a doctor, first off. He should have stabbed himself, and he should not have enough wherewithal to kill somebody this many times in a row in a movie. So I think I'll give the movie the 2.75.
275.
Yeah.
Complicated.
That's not complicated. That's fractions, man. That's decimals.
Get with it. Get with it. It's math. We're mathing. I like this movie a lot, man. Pretty much the entirety, I was like entertained, like from go. I never got bored with it. I think what they did was pretty smart with like adding the time loop stuff. That was, you know, it sort of adds to the original and also creates this really awesome sequel. It's just good, dumb fun. And like I have already said, it's got these really amazing, like heartfelt moments that sort of help elevate a movie like this. That took me by surprise. You know, I didn't really expect it. And also it's got a substation kill. So I've got to give it bonus points for that. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of negative stuff to say about it, with the exception of, I guess there's definitely some stuff going on that they don't elaborate on with like the duplicate Ryan, and maybe they could have tightened that up a little bit, but that's about it. Like, as far as what the filmmakers were trying to do, I think they really did a great job with it. I don't really think they fell short of much of anything, and I had a great time watching it, so I'm going to give it a 4. I don't have a whole lot of negatives here.
Rob, so is Substation Kills your version of Yabos? Like, do they get a half star?
A bonus half star.
Whoa, half star substations. Whoa, Rob's too good for the Yabos, though.
Not too good, Justin.
I will say, Bob, I was playing Resident Evil. We were doing the Twitch. It wasn't this past time, but I don't know, maybe last Tuesday. And there's a puzzle that's like involved like collecting or connecting electricity or whatever. You gotta like put these like pieces together, and I was like, oh, better call Bob up. I was having a hard time a little bit with that puzzle, but I was like, oh shit. So that's your role now, Bob.
Cool. Dial 1-800-BOBBY-D. Help you solve your electrical puzzles.
Actually, just call that hotline scream, you know?
That's true. The hotline's
I'm just going to hammer that home while Randy's gone.
That's fine.
For the kids, for having parents. I love him.
That's what you get for being born, loser.
He doesn't get to name the new sequences.
Doesn't get to do it. Speaking of Randy Ganey, G Laney, let's go ahead and listen to the clip that he sent in. Here we go. I'm excited.
Hey everyone, it's Randy. I'm going to do as quick as I can review of Happy Death Day to You. Now, I pretty much just got back from this movie, so it's pretty fresh on the brain, but I'm going to try and keep this concise, and I wrote down a few points. First of all, let's start with this. This is a terrible fucking movie, and it is fucking painful to sit through, in my opinion. We'll start with the problems, because that's obviously what I'm going to spend most of this time talking about. First of all, this is not a horror movie. I know that we have the argument about whether something is a horror movie or not from time to time, but this one is clearly not a horror movie. There are like maybe 3 on-screen kills, and they're all like gunshots to the chest or a stab to the chest for the most part. I'm sitting here racking my brain. I cannot think of any other kinds of kills that happen in this movie. Certainly not at the hand of a little baby-faced motherfucker. So let's set aside that it's not a slasher. It's not a horror, though. This movie does not have the cadence of any horror I've ever seen, and that includes horror comedies. So it's almost like it's trying to be like a Back to the Future or Weird Science parody. It almost has it has such a heavy lean to the teen comedy feel that it almost seems like they're trying to like joke about John Hughes here or something. Everything takes like the horror and the mystery. It's a mystery also, but all of that seems to come second to the like slapstick comedy and like this forced conflict between her wanting to be with her mom and wanting to be with her boyfriend. Like, that is maybe the most interesting part, and it is not that fucking interesting because it is completely clouded by all the bullshit. There's, by the way, like I said, there's slapstick in this movie. There's literally like an effete evil dean in this movie who is like the focus of a fucking school heist. Like, this movie has more in common with Animal House than Halloween. Like, what the fuck's going on here? Next, like the internal logic of this movie. Okay, let's talk about this shit. So, the whole plot of this movie fucking pivots around this science project done by Ryan, I believe his character's name is, and it's dumb. It is really stupid. The last movie had a stupid concept as well, but this movie focuses almost exclusively on that bullshit. Like, they make up a dumb thing and then they wink at the camera and say like, it's kind of a dumb concept. Who would have thought? That's crazy. Very self-aware like. And then they just fucking focus on it the whole time. At least the first movie had a silly concept that was dumb, but that wasn't the point, so they didn't look at it so closely. This movie forces you to look at the dumbest part of it throughout the whole fucking movie. This machine and this weird science thing, they spend so much time and attention, and literally everything hinges on whether or not it works, to the point where it's like you have to like start questioning it. If you don't start questioning the logic of it, then you have nothing else to focus on. It's fucking irritating. So like, I don't know. And also, it doesn't help that they constantly have to exposit things because it's so dumb and doesn't make sense that nobody's going to naturally intuit the things that they're coming up with. Like the idea, first of all, that there's a limited number of variables that they can test for, which go unnamed, by the way. They don't know. They don't tell us what the variables are. Like, I don't know. I don't expect this movie to like break like real science down for us or anything. But if you're gonna like talk about it, at least fucking give us like something that makes even the remotest sense. So yeah, there's that. By the way, let me point this out. This is important. If you have a friend or even a stranger who approaches you and seems to know you and tells you all sorts of crazy things, and can seem to predict like minor events in the future, things that are happening right around you, don't tell her to kill herself. What the fuck? All these people are like, everybody, these people she just met, these people that she met the night before, she seems to know them or whatever. Great, like she can impress them by knowing some math or some shit or knowing about their project, and they just believe her wholesale. Like, oh, okay, so I guess you loop back in time. All right, I buy it, and they all fucking buy it, and then on top of that, not only did they like believe this bullshit that they shouldn't, they fucking tell her to kill herself so that she doesn't get murdered by this person she is manically afraid of getting murdered by. Now, if somebody is like this and they think they're afraid of getting murdered by some masked person, you call the police. Call the goddamn police. Do not convince a mentally ill person to kill themselves. I just feel like that needs to be said. Let's see. I'm going to try and go a little quicker now. This movie is self-aware to a fault. Like I said before, the last one kind of knew what it was and then told you not to worry about it and then let you not worry about it by focusing on other things. And this movie does the opposite. It just leans into the bullshit as hard as it can until you, like, just so they can make a few more jokes and make a montage that wouldn't be out of place in Legally Blonde except for the suicide part of it. Like, I just don't understand what this movie was going for, really. There's literally a mug the camera moment in the middle of a fucking, like, cheery, like, sunny little, like, montage of her killing herself where she flips off the camera. Why? Like, was this ever supposed to be a horror? Like, it has the Blumhouse Productions logo on it, the horror-specific Blumhouse Productions logo on it, so I gotta think that somebody thought this was supposed to be a horror movie. Somebody pretty deep in the mix thought it was horror. Not this fucking movie, though. My last point is one that just really irritated me, and it's maybe a petty point, but the score in this movie is fucking terrible. It has the cadence of fucking Paul Blart Mall Cop. It sounds like Bruce Almighty. It's just like this little like jolly fucking jaunty like orchestrated thing for the most part, and then it'll do this thing where it tries to harken back to Back to the Future, clearly, but they clearly also don't have the rights for it, like they don't have the rights to the 50 Cent song. Fucking, they have this, every time somebody has an idea, they have this, which sounds exactly like Back to the Future, and considering how many times this fucking movie references Back to the Future, I can't believe that's a coincidence. I have to believe that they are overtly referencing the score of Back to the Future in the middle of this supposed horror movie. I don't know, man. I did not enjoy this shit. Like, I can't, like, again, the score, oh my God, the score really, to me, it sounds like every moment in Power Rangers that doesn't feature fighting. It's like watching the teens of Angel Grove High sell cakes at a bake sale and Bulk and Skull wander up and it's fucking terrible. My God, it's terrible. Okay, so here's a couple of good things the only good things I could think of off the top of my head. First is watching Tree's frustration. I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but Tree's frustration as she goes back into the time loop again, it's kind of funny to watch. Like, that's the moment where you really benefit from being able to forget about the dumb subplot or the dumb like central plot of fixing a fictional time machine deal, and you can just sort of like lean in a little bit to her being frustrated with this absurd situation. That's kind of fun to watch. Aside from that, like, I really don't think there's a whole lot else I could give this movie that I think is positive. Maybe somebody will bring something up in this podcast that will change my mind or give me something else to be happy about, but I really wasn't happy with this movie, and if it wasn't for me being able to bitch and complain on this podcast, I'd be really mad that I wasted money on it. So yeah, it's not a good movie. I give it a 1.5. I talked myself down from a 2, which seems laughable now, but yeah, it's a 1.5 for me, and you know, I don't know. Bye.
Bye.
Randy with the sunny disposition on this movie.
I know, just
Randy, I hope that's just a small preview of what we're gonna get next month.
Fucking Randy rant right there. First thing I want to comment on real quick is Randy's fancy little reverb that he put on his voice. I love that. At first, I was like, oh no, I got some reverb on Randy's channel. I don't. He just did that himself.
Did he sound like sweaty and out of breath to you too?
He sounded mad.
Yeah.
He really had to get this off of his chest.
So the one thing that I could agree with him though is that the score is not good. I definitely thought that while I was watching it. I was like, yeah, the soundtrack for this is just not great.
I liked it.
Did you? Were
Yeah.
you into
I
it?
didn't even notice it, to be honest. So when he was talking about it, I was like, oh, okay, maybe. But like it didn't bother me, at least in the theater, but it's not something that I like paid attention to really.
It wasn't enough to change my opinion about the movie.
It's
because
because-
there's moments as well where the acting's not great, and you're like, "Ooh, really? You decided to write that line?
Yeah.
You know, like whatever you say about like they're gonna bust my balls in a much more crude way." And she's like, "Yeah, but
yeah.
I don't have balls." I was like, "Who wrote this? What are you doing?"
They're gonna hang me by my balls
Yeah,
or
hang me
whatever.
by my balls.
What? I think based on what I heard Randy say there, it sounds like maybe his expectations of this being an actual horror movie kind of threw him for a loop here, because like one of the first things we talked about is like, I don't know that this is much of a horror movie. Justin, I think you probably would disagree. I mean, I agree with Randy. It's not much of a horror movie, but I wasn't really expecting it to be because I saw the first one, you know, and as far as I know,
I mean,
Randy
I guess
did
compared
too.
to the first one, I mean, like I said, the first 45 minutes, I mean, like Ryan gets stalked by the stalker, you know, and it's got like in like 2 sequences, and that's like got its own kills. And then Tree does the same thing, like where it's revealed like, oh, he's going to kill her friend this time. And like they go through like the whole construction area and like, so I mean, and then she does the whole like suicide thing. And then you get the reveal at the end where like the doctor. So, I mean, it has enough. Like,
Yeah, it has
I don't know.
slasher moments in it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
not enough to make it horror. I mean, it would depend on your definition
Yeah.
of it, but I don't feel like it's that different from the first one as far as the slasher moments in
Yeah.
it.
Or the-
I feel like
or
it's
the
probably
tone.
the same amount.
Yeah,
or the
for
tone
sure.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You should have known from seeing the first one exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Randy.
I think the biggest thing in this one is the Dean sequences swing it, like stick out so much in your memory, and that's like such a distinct comedy like trope character that it like it like weighs like the amount of time that Dean actually spends on like screen weighs it too much the other way. He doesn't actually spend that much time on screen, but he's like so memorable, and those like sequences are so distinct that it seems like it's a lot more time.
I love the fucking Dean.
Yeah.
I'm all in on the
Yeah, I was
Dean.
about that. Question: Did Andy think that Jurassic Park was a horror movie? I'm just curious.
I don't think he did.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
think so.
So that makes sense.
I was almost alone in my principles. I think Randy's friend, I can't remember, Brett,
Did you
joined
say?
us.
Did you
I
say
think he
yes? It is.
Yeah, I was saying like if people consider like Jaws an absolute
Yeah.
horror
Yeah,
classic,
100%.
I don't think.
then
Jaws
like
is
oh, okay. Well,
A lot of people-
Then, if you,
a lot of
then that
people do.
makes sense. But like the whole, I mean, like Jaws is touted, but this is not that review.
Yeah.
That was my argument. Like if you're gonna tout Jaws as like this classic horror, like it blows my mind that you wouldn't even put Jurassic Park in the same category. Like
That's a
it's
good
like,
argument. Jurassic
Yeah.
Park is like my favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
So I'm always there for that conversation of is this horror? Is this not horror?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it is. But somebody was telling me that like horror is whatever like you want it to be. It's whatever you're afraid of. So you can consider that horror. This movie is not like terrifying at all.
No.
I mean, unless you're
No,
afraid
this
of a
movie,
baby
yeah.
mascot, which I guess I am
I mean,
because he's pretty
Yeah,
creepy.
I was
kinda
terrified
creepy.
by that.
I do want that little like enamel pen that the Dean had of the baby mascot. I kind of want one of those.
I'd wear it.
Yeah.
I'd wear it. So that's gonna, with Randy's review there, that's gonna put our aggregate at a 2.75 for Happy Death Day to you. So let's go ahead and get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users have to say about Happy Death Day to you.
Certified
all right,
fresh.
let's
to
hop
death.
in here.
Take it away.
What do we got? 140 reviews counted for the critics. Solid sample size for this new release. I already like this. Already feels like it's got like this kind of cult status. I don't know, like when I finally checked this movie out. Like I had heard the whispers, you know, like it seems like it's got this like fervor around it. I don't know. But so 140 reviews counted so far from the critics. Let's be gentlemen and let the ladies go first. Stephanie, kick us off. Out of 140 critics counted, what do you think they rated this movie?
I'm going to say a 60.
60. All right. Brad, what do you think?
God, the critics. I would probably go like probably around a 50. I'd think
50.
they're probably hard.
50.
I think they're a little harsher on this movie than the average person.
All right. And Robert, what you got?
I'll get crazy with it and say 70.
Okay, we got a 50, 60, and 70. Nice the numbers there. Bob is going to steal it away. It is a 66% certified. Oh, okay, not certified, but it is fresh. Average rating 5.9 out of 10. Of the 140 reviews counted, 93 are fresh, 47 are rotten. The critic consensus is a funnier follow-up with a sci-fi bent. Happy Death Day to You isn't as fiendishly fresh as its predecessor, but fans of the original may still find this sequel worth celebrating.
All right.
So yeah, that was it.
I almost said 65, so you're lucky.
Oh, I am lucky.
Oh, you're lucky, Bob.
Shit.
So yeah, 66%. That's a little surprising to me, to be honest.
Definitely.
I would have thought the critics would have leaned negative on this one, but I'm pleased to see they landed fresh. Let's hop into the audience score. Let's Charlie Brown this shit and reverse. Rob, kick us off. Wow. Very, very low Oozer rating so far. It is a brand new movie. Let's be fair. 704. 704. That is really low. So, Bob, what do you think the Oozers think of this movie?
I'm going to say, geez, I don't know, man. I'll go 80. I'll get crazy.
Woo!
80.
Crazy. All right. 80. B-Rad.
Man, I really wanted to use the straight chillin' spesh on this one.
Do it.
But
Ooh,
I don't.
you can do it, guy.
I don't feel like that's it though. So I'm torn right now. If I get, I'll go with the straight chillin' spesh. 69.
Ooh, Spash. All right.
Woo.
69. And Steph, round us out, please.
I'm thinking it's probably closer to 65, so I'm going to go with that.
65. All right. Oh, Steph is going to narrowly steal it away from the straight chillin' special. I thought you were safe there, B-Rad. I thought you were safe.
I was so close.
In rare form, it is the exact same score as the critics and the Oozer audience score is 66-66. It is the same. I wish, God damn, how I wish it was 69-69. Maybe one day.
One day.
I would, dude. My head might explode if we get a 69-69. I don't even know what I would do.
You'll finally find Nirvana.
So both are 66 with an average rating for the Oozers 3.5 out of 5. So all around, it's positive. Like I said, there's been a fervor around this series, and I'm pleased to see it's already got its kind of following. I appreciate that.
Nice, very nice. Let's go ahead and get into some trivia.
It's totally time for trivia.
So I'm going to blast through some of these little bullet points here since Randy can't do it. Looking at you, Randy.
Blast it, Bob.
Damn family.
Son of a bitch. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I already kind of mentioned this, but Christopher Landon, the director, announced plans for a third film as soon as production wrapped on the sequel here. So that's exciting. We're definitely going to get that trilogy. The initial worldwide release date was set to be Valentine's Day. However, in the United States, due to a recent tragedy, the film's premiere date was set to the previous day of February 13th, 2019. I guess because this movie is kind of murdery, you know. They set it to the day prior. Let's see here. The wood chipper scene seen through the movie says Biff's tree removal on the side, which our keen eyes picked that out. The device Ryan has invented is called Sissy. which is a reference to the character of Sisyphus in Green mythology. Like Tree, Sisyphus escaped death's clutches, and as his punishment in the afterlife, he was forced to roll a boulder up a hill every day for eternity, only to have it roll away from him back down the hill before he could get to the top. The story of Sisyphus is superficially like that of Tree, who must relive the same day again and again, only to see something finally go wrong each time before she can get out of the time loop. Which, that's kind of neat. Tree's Tree's freefall montage of various suicides landing her back into Carter and Ryan's dorm room pays visual reference to the music video of the song that plays over the montage, Paramore's Hard Times, where in the music video, lead vocalist Hayley Williams, sporting similar attire to Tree Gelbman and blonde hair, collapses slowly back into a bed from the roof. I've never seen that music video and definitely would not have gotten that reference. That's kind of cool, though. You guys familiar with Paramore whatsoever? Anyway?
I know of them.
Yeah.
I've heard
Cool.
rumors.
I've heard.
Cool.
Actually, I did like that shot where it's like her falling and then all of a sudden it like flows into the bedroom.
Was
I thought that
cool.
was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was what, the clock suicide or whatever, when she climbs the clock tower. I think.
Yeah. I actually love that whole montage. I thought that was great.
That suicide montage was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. When in high school, fucking Netch, Bob, me and Netch used to fuck around in one of our classes, and we used to kind of like do that shit from across the room. We would like mimic to each other like with different ways to commit suicide in our classes, and it just I don't know. It feels like one of those things where like it's just like good like fun that at one point you thought like when she's just in the aisle like.
What?
We're going back to emo Justin.
Like,
emo Justin showed up again.
Okay, God, whatever. You got to put yourself in terrible ways over and over again.
Just because you don't want to do homework. Math is
just
hard.
a little AP history fun, you know.
Better kill myself.
Times are tough. Let's see. I'm trying to go through some of this and pick out some interesting stuff. Body count is 20, 7 of which are Tree, 3 of which are Lori, 2 of which are John, and guarding the officer. Yeah, okay, the officer. So
Yeah, it's like, who's John?
yeah, no, I guess that's his
Carter
name.
won.
Yeah, Carter. Yeah, it says 20, and then it starts to list them, and then definitely does not list 20. So I don't know what the others. I don't know what the others are.
How many for Tree?
I mean,
7.
The doctor like dies at the end of one sequence, and I guess his wife too, because he shoots her.
I totally forgot that his wife was a part of this too.
Yeah, that was a little actually, but whatever.
That wasn't necessary at all.
No, not. It wasn't. It was a little
like they
surprise.
had to justify paying that actress or something. They're like, get in there. Earn your pay.
Just get in there.
We have to have a surprise person. Who else are we going to throw in there?
Yeah.
It should have been the lady sitting there reading a book. Like
Should have been.
Juice, there's not really a cooter in this, would you say?
Oh, a cooter? Let's talk.
I would argue against
Cooter of the
that.
week.
Yeah.
Brad, who's your cooter of the week?
What you got?
Let's see if we've done our jobs. Let's see if we have trained up a healthy audience of cooter hunters out there. Let's see if Brad can break it down for us.
Well, I mean, I have one that I think is like the most obvious.
All right.
My runner-up would probably be alternate reality Ryan, because he's just kind of an asshole for not explaining anything.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
Kind of does
showed
fuck
up
up
and
a
tried
lot
to
of
murder
shit.
people.
they didn't.
He's got
give him
the attire.
opportunity.
He's got it.
Yeah.
The tire is wild.
But I'm
Does
definitely
say like bomb pussy or whatever? Bomb vagina over and over again.
and that's why he came back. He's got to get it again. So.
Who you got, Brad?
So I'm definitely going to say the doctor guy on this one. He is by far awful, and super creepy looking too. He's got that weird like Willard comb over type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, break it down for us, Brad. All right, so we got the doctor, cooter of the week, and what's he hit? Where's he hitting here, Brad?
Well, he's got the attire.
Check.
He's got the sexual deviancy.
Check.
He
Sexual
is.
deviancy on.
I mean, I don't even know if I'd say he was manipulative, but Either that or his wife. Like, apparently his wife.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say because, like, bleed over from the first movie, he's like in the first movie, he tries to manipulate like Tree more because that's their relationship. So that like he is manipulative, but you don't necessarily like see it as much in this movie. But good hit there.
Yeah. I honestly forgot what the other categories of.
We always forget the last one.
I'm but an understudy.
The only one that you didn't hit on was the self-importance.
Oh, yeah. So he's definitely the cooter.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Yeah.
He did also like slither into that room.
Oh.
as well.
Like a fucking
Yeah, he does kind of.
He was like, "Who are you?"
Good, Brad. Man. Woo. I'm proud. I'm like a proud father.
You've graduated Cooter College today.
Yeah, Bob was just gonna skirt over the whole segment, but good catch, Brad. The doctor certainly is a not even just like a wheel. It's doctor hits solid on the old cooter chart, like
Certified.
real solid.
I'm glad I got my cooter diploma now. So
You did.
Absolutely. Official hunter over here. We need to get those badges made up. Randy, where? Goddamn.
He better be making those badges right now with his family.
Laminate it, Mom.
We are, yes. Cooter of the week. What is that dude's name?
The doctor?
Dr. Cooter.
I called him Dr.
Yeah.
Nick from
Doctor.
Dr. Nick.
Good. Yes. So yes, Happy Death Day and Death Day 2. He would like hit the cooter on both, I suppose. He's like the same dude, but in this one he even elevates it to the high because he's actually the killer. So
Kicks it up.
He's not the same
good-
dude, but he's like the same dude.
Yeah. Good
He's
job,
not
Brad.
a different man.
No.
He's not different.
Got that cooter of the week on lock.
Got it.
I feel like regular Ryan isn't that great either, though.
Yeah, he's
Like in his loop, whenever he like wakes up in his car and he gets up and there's all that garbage that comes out, I'm like, you're a fucking scientist. What are you doing? What a little shithead.
Get it together, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like a cooter
So-
understudy. What?
That's why, yeah, he's an understudy. I feel like we need to make sure that he is like Cooter Light, Cooter Diet version.
Yeah.
Is your alternative.
Yeah.
Diet cooter.
Cooter Zero.
Fat-free
He's headed
cooter.
that way. He's headed down the cooter path. That's for sure. That attire is already certainly on point.
Or he like redeemed himself from being a cooter because he kind of saves the day.
Yeah.
So he's
go.
like the anti-cooter.
Cooter redemption.
Cooter redemption.
He's alright. He's alright.
He came back from the path of darkness.
I think I'm going to skip the news today because we're going a little long. But let's go ahead and get into our new voicemail segment. So this is something that we started doing last show.
What's it called, Bob?
I don't know. You tell me, man. You're the one making the rules around here.
Hotline Scream.
Hotline scream.
I know when that hotline scream,
There you go.
bish.
You bitch. So
Yo,
yeah,
bish.
if you're unaware, we've got a hotline you can call and leave us voicemails and tell us how much we suck. The number you can call if you want to do that is 904-638-3231. So we got a few voicemails this week. I'm going to play them right now. First one we're going to hear from Anthony. Here we go.
Hey, this is Anthony from Something Ghoulish, and I was calling in because I was very shocked to hear Rob like Suspiria 2018. Doesn't that just blow your yabos off? Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you guys for the kind words on episode 200, and can't wait to meet you, Justin. Whenever we meet, I'm going to buy a nice big old PB&J banh mi sandwich. All right, keep chilling, guys.
Oh, Anthony. Yeah, so Anthony was on our Suspiria 2018 show in which I was not a big fan of that movie, and I had since rewatched it, and I warmed up on it. I still don't love it, but I warmed to it, and now he's shitting all over my face because I said that I kind of like it now, which is fine. I'll accept it.
And that's fair because he even kind of called us out a little bit. I mean, we gave you the shit for it, but I mean, Bob like led the crusade. This was Bob's crusade of Suspiria. Even in the top 10, he wasn't willing to come out and like didn't even make the top 10. And here's the thing, Bob, you rated it a 1.5. I had my tirade last year where I was against Halloween, but I at least was fair and gave it a 2.5. 1.5 for Suspiria 2018 is ludicrous. So we need to know now, what is your new rating for Suspiria 2018?
Man, I'm not changing my official score, but if we did another show on it today, I'd probably give it like, I don't know, man, maybe a 2.5 or a 3.
Okay.
I can confirm that Rob is Yabo-less right now.
Yeah,
they've been blown clean off.
Blown clean off. Doesn't that blow your Yabos off?
What was the last movie that y'all all like actually liked?
We could be here all night.
It wasn't Glass.
I know. I listened to y'all shit on Glass, and I was like, I actually liked this movie.
I'm
so
glad
I had
you
a big
did.
rant about it with Brad afterwards, and I was like, don't listen to them, Brad.
Glass?
me.
You liked Glass?
I did.
God.
We
I'm
talked
fine.
about
I don't mind admitting it.
The Descent, maybe. We did that recently, and I know
did
we all
Descent.
liked that.
That was, yeah.
That might have been the last one we all liked, but yeah. I'm glad you like Glass. I wanted to like it so bad.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
It's
Ugh.
not the best one, of course. But,
I didn't like it.
But I also, there's a lot of movies that I'm like, Brad, don't listen to them because they're not that bad.
Yeah.
Like
Tries to steer me clear.
I also really like The Meg, and y'all hate that movie.
Oh my
Yeah.
Lord, Jesus.
It was
And it's
bad.
not a good movie. I understand it's a terrible movie, but like I know what I'm going into going to see
Yeah.
it. You know, like I feel like you have to give that some credit because it's the same thing with Happy Death Day. You could clearly go into this like Andy did
Yeah,
and being like,
yeah.
this is a shitty movie. It's not horror. It's not whatever. But like, you know that it's not going to be this revolutionary, great horror movie that you're walking
Sure.
into.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go see The Meg and be like, this is going to be a whole new fucking take on shark movies, and it's going to blow your mind. Like,
I want
it's,
to,
you
though.
know,
I
it's
got-
going to be horrible. The science is going to be terrible, but there's going to be a fun death in it.
I wanted more death. I was just kind of bored.
More death.
I was bored
Yeah, it was
by
kind
it.
of boring.
Yeah. But yeah,
Dude, we all
I hear you.
liked episode 199 was Martyrs. I think that one was positive. And actually 197 was the old Poops tapes. And I think we liked that one too. I think it ended up maybe positive or at least like close. And then Descent. So actually, I feel like those are the ones from this year. The Descent, the Poops tapes, Glass, the Martyrs, retrospective, and They. So I feel like we're hitting positive for the year.
Yeah,
It's the beginning
overall.
of the year, though. So.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
got to
it
start
is.
out with
It's
some shitty stuff.
It's early.
Yeah. And even Happy Death Day ended up on the positive, so we good.
Yeah, with
Well,
a
that's
classic
because
Randy
Andy
rant.
wasn't here.
Yeah.
If he was, we all would have been like, was it bad?
I want him to listen to the show and see if what we have to say changes his mind in any way whatsoever. I don't know that it will. He seemed pretty fucking mad about it. But
He was
Sweaty about
out
it,
of
yeah.
breath mad.
I've known Randy for a long time, and I trust Randy makes his judgments. But at the same time, I've known Randy for a long time. And a little bit of that tone, especially when he was like, I just got out of this movie, felt a little bit like on the ride home, Beck's bitching a little bit. I feel like that influenced. I feel like the girlfriend bitching influenced the 1.5 a scotch. I'm going to call it. I feel like I felt that in the tone.
We'll see.
That's why we didn't talk about it in the car at all when we were heading over here.
Silence.
Brad's like, what did you?
I'm
he's
not
like, what did you
questioning
think?
Randy's rating integrity like Bob's with the beer and everything, but I feel like it maybe dropped it a half a star. I feel like that maybe the girlfriend bitching in the passenger seat maybe dropped it a scotch.
Rob also had 0 beers this
No
this
beers at
viewing,
all.
So
So
we got sober
Still-
Rob
all
today.
right.
still pretty good.
Got that hotline scream.
Yeah.
Who's next, Bob?
We got a few more actually. So next up, let's hear from Stacy.
Hey guys, this is Stacy again. I know I call you all the time. I'm a loser. I have nothing better to do. But I'm walking around Goodwill and I'm shopping and I'm listening to you guys. So I thought I'd call because yesterday I saw Happy Death Day to You for Valentine's Day. And goodness gracious, was it a sack of shit. it was like 10 times worse than the first one, in my opinion. You might like it, who knows. But, yeah, I remember you guys talking about how you might go see it or whatever, but yeah, it was awful. I didn't really follow any kind of plot. It kind of felt more like a romantic comedy than a horror film. I don't know what was going on with it. But anyways, I'm a jerk. I'm a judger. That's okay. Anyways, I'm going to continue shopping. I'll see you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Stalker Stacy calling in from the Goodwill. Gotta love it. Just a big old sack of shit movie.
More on Randy's pace there.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like I was saying about Randy, it seems like maybe expectations go into play if you came out of this not liking it. You know, maybe the first one did have more of like a horror vibe going on that could throw you off. But I don't know, man. I feel like they kind of did what they were trying to do. I'd rather like judge this movie based on what it is than what it is than like what it is not. You know, but I don't know. There's a lot of deaths. There's 20 deaths. That's more than some Friday the 13th movies, for what it's worth.
Good point.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
Which probably isn't worth that much, but
Friday the 13th, not a horror movie then.
Nope. Not a horror movie. It's a teen drama, actually.
If it ain't Martyrs, if it ain't a Serbian film, it ain't shit, you know?
God, we've covered all the worst, or the vast majority of the worst movies.
No, we haven't.
Looking at you, Mikey.
Make us watch more shit. Join Patreon.
Torture us with your dollars.
You haven't even scratched the surface, Bob. You don't know.
Well, thanks for calling, Stacey. Hopefully after listening to our show, we've changed your mind. We want Randy to be alone on this. Next up, we're hearing from old Jim G. Baby.
Hey, chillins, what's up? I just wanted to call in and let you guys know you're doing a fucking awesome job on the cast. Bringing us horror fans together on Slack to interact and form up a little community is just fucking cool. I can't think of another podcast or media platform doing that, although I could just be behind the times. You know, I'm only 34, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck is Fortnite? So I could just be behind. Anyhow, yeah, you guys are fucking rocking the shit. Everything adding to YouTube, and you guys are just firing on all cylinders without getting pretentious or fart sniffy about the whole endeavor, and that's dope. So, getting on to it, I haven't missed the chance to get some questions in for the 200th retrospective. I thought I'd pose them here and see if you guys might want to squeeze them into an episode. If you could, without further ado, what's your guys' favorite category of headliner or theme in a horror film? Ghost, supernatural, creature, monster, alien, slasher, psycho, or cults, witches, or demon type shit. Two, what's up with old Bish, Man with Wood, Caesar status on the show? Seems for a while like he was a semi-hard regular, and then he just ghosted. I guess same for the other usual suspects over the course of the show. You guys have had on, like Serial Killer Drew. Let's see, last one. Let's see. On an older episode, it's probably between, like, I don't know, episode 100 and 160 or so, somewhere in there. Bob was getting progressively more riled towards the end when Soju kept calling him Makuche. What is the story of Makuche? I'm dying to know. That shit was hilarious. There was a good bunch of classic oh my gods in there that had me rolling. That was a good episode. Anyway, keep up the great work, fellas, and as always, keep chilling, son.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for the phone call, man. We really appreciate it. So yeah, a few questions there. First, I want to congratulate you, Jim, on the A2 and D reference there from Home Alone. That's kind of a subtle joke that was thrown in there. But yeah, so I guess the first question was like, what's your favorite subgenre of horror film? Juice?
I mean, I guess of like the options that we're given, probably like psycho-slasher would probably be at the number one. But I like how he put like witches, cults together, because that, like, I also do enjoy those. I just feel like there's less of them like to enjoy, but like when a good one comes out, I'm always like super stoked. So I would say Psycho-Slasher followed by Cult Witches.
Gotcha. Do you guys want to weigh in on this? You got some favorites?
I mean, I don't think he was really asking us, but I'll definitely give my opinion on something.
He's going to hear what you have to say.
Jim, which actually, Jim is like a super cool guy. We've talked on the Slack channel. He's like super nice.
He's really nice, yeah.
So I definitely have to go with like alien sci-fi on this one, just because The Thing, Alien and Aliens, not so much Aliens 3.
Yeah.
And I'd probably loop The Blob in with that too.
Yes.
Like, I love all of those movies.
Yeah.
And they're like
good call,
so
man.
good.
They are what I would call classic horror movies to me. So yeah, I'd go alien sci-fi on this one.
Cool. Steph?
Creature Monster.
Yes.
That's my all-time favorite no-brainer, which I feel like some sci-fi stuff can kind of bleed into Creature Monster as well.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm a big old slasher boy. You know, it's my sweet spot.
Did we all choose something different?
If you choose
me and Bob y'all both
are
said the same
technically
thing.
Psycho-Slasher. Yeah, but I mean, I do like the category of witches, cult, especially put together like that.
Yeah, my second would definitely be like monster movies, because I mean, The Thing. Come on.
Right. It's
Oh.
like
Yeah, I
gotta
feel
be
like
the best.
the Thing is more Creature Monster to me than sci-fi.
Yeah, but they're definitely hand in
bleeds.
hand.
It could be the
Hand in hand,
same
yeah.
side, because
I mean,
you
I
could
don't know.
almost say Aliens or Creature Monster as well.
But there's only like 6 or 7 kills in The Thing, so is it even a horror movie?
Not a horror
I don't
movie.
know.
No, it's not a horror movie. Happy Death Day to You is a horror movie, but that's
Definitely.
that's not a horror movie. We're not the gatekeepers. Everybody knows that. His second question was, where the fuck is Cesar? That's probably a pretty fair question to ask.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, we did kind of address it a couple times.
Yeah.
Old Bish became an adult last year, essentially, is what happened.
He grew up.
He's too grown up for this shit. No, but he did have a big year last year. We mentioned several times he got married last year. And so that was a big moment that takes, a lot of time in general. But also, he was gone for a lot of time last year, and he was off training for like a whole new job. So he was like learning kind of like a new like profession. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but I mean, he was like in training for just like a lot of things. So he was away, and he tried to call in when he could, but he was staying really busy. And then when he came back, like he kind of had to hop into like the new married life and stuff like that. So, he
He's got a lot going on. A lot of big life changes.
He's got a lot going on. Yeah,
And
he might. He's still kind of getting into that still. I mean, he was on the Halloween episode when we cover that. So that was just October. So he's just got a lot on his plate right now. So he might swing back in here one day, but we're giving him time to be a married man and, get his job going and everything like that,
Everything like that. Yeah, the door's always open for Cesar. I'm sure you haven't seen the last of him. And as far as
we didn't like kick his ass to the curb or anything.
You can get out, Cesar. As far as the other usual suspects, Drew mentioned on the show when he left, which was quite a while ago actually, that he was just going back to school and wouldn't have as much free time to do the podcast, so he kind of stepped down. But he's been back since he was on the Jurassic Park episode that we referenced earlier in the show as well. And of course, Bradley's back right now!
I'm sitting right here.
Holy shit!
Hey, what's up? And actually, I would like to say today is Drew's birthday.
happy birthday,
So,
Drew.
Happy birthday,
happy
Drew!
death day to Drew.
Wait, what? Yeah, Drew. Serial killer Drew. I love, it cracks me up that people that haven't met Drew in real life just call him a serial killer like we always have.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, serial killer Drew.
Man, and it's all just because he's like super monotone. He's just a really monotone guy.
Very methodical and like, yeah, you could probably kill me if you want to do that. That's weird.
He also had a death list too at one point, so like that probably doesn't help.
Okay,
He did. Oh shit! Yeah, he got suspended for that.
He got
It was a
suspended.
You're
joke
gonna-
death list.
You're going to have to cut that
Just
out
so you
just
know.
in case.
Sorry, dude. It was a while ago. Drew's also like the biggest sweetheart. So we give him a hard time.
We all just got added to that list.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
that list got a little longer.
No, you're going to
just
get
saying.
like FBI agents going to come if
Oh,
Drew's
shit.
ever investigated for anything and be like, we listened to your podcast.
The FBI listens to this podcast, guys.
Yeah, they do, because we're all psychos, you know?
Dude, I usually have a pretty good memory for this kind of stuff. Like when we played our like Who Said This segment, I remembered quite a bit.
Yeah.
I do not, and I tried to look for it a little bit because he gave us like a range. I do not remember Q-Che coming up on the cast.
I remember you saying it. I don't know what show it was on, but I remember
like I
getting
don't
upset
remember
with you.
it enough to get you riled up. I think it is hilarious that it's come up. Fucking. So this is an old fucking joke. And I couldn't even tell you what it's burned from, but essentially Q-Che is just slang for quarter chub. So it's kind of like a little bit of a backhanded compliment because it's like, oh, you give me a Q-Che guy, but it's like not enough to like really get you going. It's just like kind of a little bit, but the term Q-Che, I could not tell you where like we developed that from, like why, but it stands for quarter chub, as in your erection. As in a quarter of an
You're at quarter mast, you know. It's a de-evolution of a joke that I'm sure came up years ago and for somehow, you know, de-evolved into Q-Che, and I don't know.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you just pop in that Q-Che, you know, you're not really, you know, not really ready to go, but something got you a little excited, you know, just pop in that Q-Che.
It sounds like a Jack and Ross thing for sure.
It wasn't like I can almost like remember where it spawned from, but it's pretty fucking old, man. Like that's a throwback.
Old as father time.
I don't think it was the twins, but yeah, I mean, I guess it could be.
I really don't know. It's just always been around.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers.
Now you know our most intimate, deepest jokes.
Yeah, all of our weird inside jokes. Jim, thanks again. Also, I don't know what the fuck Fortnite is. Hope all's well, man. Last voicemail we got here. Let's listen to what old Shaggy Black has to say.
Greetings from beyond the grave. This is your boy Shaggy Black. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm drunk, but I am inebriated off of this motherfucking cough syrup as I have the flu, which I don't wish on anybody, alive or dead. I want to say, hey guys, congrats on your 200 episode. I'm sorry I missed out on actually congratulating you when it's time, but you know, CPT. If you don't know what that is, Google it. I appreciate the shout out, even though I never did get the shirt. You're still my favorite, Randy. It's all good. Yeah, boys, loving the work, loving the show, and always I'm gonna keep listening, keep retweeting, keep following, and keep laughing at the shenanigans. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna go back and get some rest. So. Oh, and also, because I know you guys get it, rise from your graves.
Hey, Shaggy, thanks for calling, man. Hopefully you're feeling better now. The flu is no joke.
Yeah, man.
That's terrible.
You got to rest up and everything. I will say that intro takes a lot of swerves. Like at first it's like, hey, I'm not going to say I'm drunk. And you're like, this this rascal really calling up drunk. And he's like, hooked up on that cough syrup, and you're like, whoa, okay, well, what are you
sipping
doing?
On the
he's
lean.
like, oh, I got the flu. And you're like, oh, it's just like in a couple of seconds, it really takes a lot of swerves there.
There's a lot going on.
Keeps you guessing for sure.
Yeah, Shaggy, you never know what he's up to. So he's referencing a T-shirt that Randy promised to make that he never did. I don't even remember what the design was exactly. It might have been the God Save the Cream T-shirt. I don't remember.
There's a backlist.
Or the solid 1-star shirt, maybe. Randy's got a lot to make. A lot of promises.
Yeah, he did make the Cooter Club sticker. I'll give him that. I appreciate that.
He did, yeah. And also the Rise from the Grave reference. Shaggy does this thing where every morning he wakes up, he posts a GIF to Twitter, and it's like someone rising. So he's in it. Caption is "Rise from your grave." So thanks for calling, man. Again, I hope you're doing better. The flu is no joke. You got to get the flu shot. Get vaccinated, son.
I have never had a flu shot.
Really? I have.
ever in my life.
It's been a little
I'm
while.
not saying don't. I'm not saying don't.
You
Coming out
anti-vaxxer.
anti-vaxxer.
No,
Oh God.
I wanted to share that little tidbit. I have actually never had a flu shot in my life that I know. Like, I mean, maybe I got one when I was like super little, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've never gone to get one as a person, as
a
my own person.
person.
You're not a person when you're little.
Yeah, true. True. So, yeah, that's it for our voicemails. Thanks again, everybody, for calling. If that's something you want to do, the number you can reach us at, again, is 904-638-3231. We're going to be back next week with a brand new episode. As always, we're going to be talking about the February poll pick winner, which is Audition.
Yes. Finally.
We're going to get into some messed up Japanese horror.
By the way, that was not my pick. I don't know if you could guess which one was mine. What do you think my pick was?
Are you asking me?
I'm giving the audience like
okay.
giving the audience like a little pause.
I think they know. I think we've talked about it enough.
Yeah, it was Ghost. Come on. Actually,
Scariest
I'm
movie ever.
really excited to talk about Audition, but like I've been pitching watching Ghost. Like I tried to get us to watch it on our like 100th episode, and then it like kept coming up for like 150 and like 200. I was like, we should watch Ghost, and wouldn't that shit be hilarious?
He's slowly trying to derail the podcast into a rom-com podcast.
Just talk about
Is it
Patrick Swayze.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, is there a new Ghost that I'm like not?
Oh no,
Nope.
it's the Sways. We're talking Sways here.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought I said 13
That
ghosts?
should've-
No,
that
I
should have
just
been
meant
your
watch
Valentine's
Ghost
Day
13
episode.
times.
Oh shit!
Well, okay, so it was for
There
our
you go.
Valentine's like poll pick. I was like, come on, Ghost. That's like, but Audition, like, I mean, come on.
It's
How
good.
could you not vote for Audition?
It's
like,
a good one.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe try again at another time.
Solid 1 star.
We'll see. I'm sure
I'll
we'll
just
talk
pick
about it
it
eventually.
like no matter what the theme is.
Every
we're
month
gonna
for the
watch.
poll pick. You jerk. Brad and Steph, thanks so much for coming on the show, guys. It's always good talking with you.
Thanks
Much
for
love.
having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So next week we're going to talk about Audition. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at str8_chilling. We're on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through the website, straightchillingpodcast.com. Hit us up on the Patreon. Hit us up on the Twitch. Hit us up on YouTube.
Yep. All Straight Chilling / Straight Chilling Podcast.
There you go.
Trying
Yeah.
to keep that consistent.
If you search Straight Chilling Podcast pretty much anywhere, you'll find us. We are omnipresent on the socials. Also, if you want to join our Slack channel, which Brad mentioned earlier, just hit us up on any one of our social media platforms and let us know, and I can send you a link to join us on Slack, which we talk about the movie of the week, of course, and we also talk about anything and everything else that's going on in pop culture, video games, music, all kinds of stuff. So,
Yeah. I'll be live on Twitch Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Even if you don't like video games, we have a live chat and fuck around. So if you want to get on there, twitch.tv / Straight Chillin' Podcast. I usually try to roll for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Cool. Yeah.
I try to get to a good save point, It's hard to always tell where that's going to be.
I do know what you're talking about. I don't know shit about video games. So yeah, that's it. Until next week, as always, everybody please keep chilling.